All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bourbon Bar. I'm Holden. This is Loren, and tonight we're going to be doing something that you can only do when you have Wisconsin cheese, and that is pairing Wisconsin cheese with bourbon or whiskey. More or less saying whiskey instead of bourbon because we are going to have more than just bourbon on here. But we're going to make sure the sound works on this today. And it does, so we are all set there. I found my mic was a little bit unscrewed, so that should help. Screwing it in should help. That being said, I'm excited. All right, so we're gonna get some Glencairns out here. Let's do the Bourbon Bar Glencairns and bust out a couple. And so basically, my thought process behind this today is we have this cheese here, right? And we want to try to pair it with some whiskey. Did I say pair this whole time, or did I say blend at some point?
No,
I said pair.
I don't think you said blend. I think I would have questioned how you blend cheese and whiskey, and if you were, how it would taste gross.
Well, technically, this cheese and whiskey is blended. I mean, this cheese is
I don't think it's
blended.
I don't think they put whiskey in it. I think they put whiskey on it.
Oh, when it ages. Well, it does age. Cheese, like whiskey, does age. So, this is aged cheese. I'm not sure how old it is, but yeah, Hanging AZ's in the house. Cheese heads, 100% cheese heads over here. Nacho bourbon. That's funny, but yes, Hanging AZ. What is up, my man? Cheers to you. Thanks for stopping in. So basically, this cheese that we have here, we got up north this weekend when we were in Door County, doing some wine tasting, among other tastings.
Some cheese tasting.
Cheese tasting as well. But it's a Wisconsin cheese, and it is Bella Vitano.
I don't think you're saying that right.
Bella.
Let me see.
It's two words. Bella Vitano Tennessee whiskey. So basically, this is Tennessee whiskey cheese.
I think you have to say it with an Italian accent. It's an Italian cheese.
Bella Vitano Tennessee whiskey.
There you go.
Bella Vitano Tennessee whiskey. But
sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, so this whiskey is this cheese is Tennessee whiskey cheese. Not sure how exactly they do that. I did try it at the actual place where we bought it from. But it was sweet. Yeah, it was a little piece. It was very sweet. It was really nice.
I thought it was like on your tongue, like when do you make that?
Well, we can go ahead and start off the night with just tasting a little bit of the cheese. And so this stuff is aged, not sure how long, but
it's a hard
cheese. It has like
crystal nut.
Yeah, but it has like sweet notes in it, like from the whiskey, I think. Have you ever tried cheese with horseradish?
Paul doesn't like horseradish.
I don't. Unfortunately, horseradish is not my thing. So this cheese is like dry, I want to say.
I think it's called hard cheese. Something like that.
Hard cheese? Okay.
Something like that.
We're not professional cheese tasters here, even if we're in Wisconsin.
Really fancy cheese gets like crystals in it. I don't remember from what. But there used to be at this place that we got it from. They had this cheese, and it was called like snowflake cheese or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it had a whole bunch of crystals in it. It was really good. But this one has little crystals.
Yeah, there are little crystals in this one.
You can feel them in your mouth.
But that being said, not necessarily because I think that it's going to pair well, which it might pair well, but mainly because I think this is the only Tennessee whiskey I even have.
What one's Tennessee whiskey? This one?
Oh, this one.
Oh.
We're going to be starting off by pairing some Uncle Nearest with the cheese. This is a pretty great bourbon. It definitely has some nice sweet caramel notes, but it also has other flavors as well. Honestly, I've reviewed it once, I think, on live, but it's been a while since I've had it, so I'm gonna have to delve back into this before we go ahead and start tasting it with the cheese.
Yeah, but your mouth is already cheesy.
Well, I know, but I mean it's kind of reaccustomed. I haven't had any whiskey tonight, so there's that.
No whiskey.
Yeah, so this bourbon is this Tennessee whiskey, bourbon, whatever you want to call it, is honestly pretty sweet. There's some light notes, some honey, some maybe like light fruit, like green apple skins or something along those lines. A little bit of like some sweet corn, like grainy notes in there as well. But it smells pretty sweet. Lauren's got some new blankets and they're leaving fuzzies all over her. But this smells pretty great, so pretty simple on the palate. Sweet caramel.
Grape.
Has,
Grape.
Grapey for you? I can see grapey. What color grapes?
I don't know.
I guess, yeah, I could see grapey in here.
Some good grapes.
More like a green grape though. Almost not, I don't want to say sour, but like not as like fruity sweet as a red grape. So, I mean, that may do well with this. A lot of the whiskeys that I actually have picked out for tonight are finished in wine barrels because wine and cheese. One of which is a new one that I've got recently. I'll get into that later. But I guess I can tell you what it is now. It is the Burning Chair, which I'm sure many of you guys have probably heard of, but it's from I don't even know where it's from. It's from somewhere in California, but it's basically a guy who did a lot of wine stuff, and then he started diving into whiskey. But this is the bottle, as you can see, really interesting, cool bottle, full of glass cork, but it has like the nice seal on it. But the cork is glass, which is really cool. It's like feels fancy, high scale. But it's wine cask finished, and it's 57.34% alcohol, and it has a finish of 60% Grenache, 25% Zinfandel, and 15% Cabernet Sauvignon. So that's really great bourbon that I picked up the other day, and I like drinking a lot, so I'll review it later on the stream, but it's a little high proof for right now. I'm going to start off with the easy ones. We got the Uncle Nearest, and we also have some Angel's Envy here, which I used to actually love. Haven't had in a while, but I remember Loren pouring in a blind for me one time, and it was only okay. It was mediocre at best. But Hey Z says wine grape. Could be wine grape. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and cut some pieces of cheese off for Loren and I. Like I said, we're far from professionals at cheese tasting, I would say, but whiskey tasting we can do.
Tasting cheese in Wisconsin usually means cheese curds, and those are a lot bigger chunks than what Holden's going to be cutting off right now.
Yeah.
So.
Although these chunks are pretty nice.
Yeah, but that's not a big cheese curd.
True. Okay. You want this one?
Sure.
Okay, so first we're gonna go with a little bit of whiskey, then we're gonna go to the cheese, and then we're gonna go back to the whiskey. I'll start. Loren will go after me that way because we're only gonna pour these whiskeys in one glass. No need to dirty glasses if we're drinking the same thing because we're engaged. Well, you don't need to
can't share drinks with people you're not engaged.
Well, I know, but you know, COVID and all that kind of stuff. You know, the C word. All right, but overall, like I said, sweet, a little bit of grain, some light fruits on here.
What am I supposed to do first?
Drink, smell and drink, and cheese, and then drink again.
I don't like it.
Oh, interesting. Cheese took away from the sweetness on this one.
It tastes like the ground.
Huh?
It made it taste like the ground.
Okay. Apparently it made it taste like the ground. So I think it made the cheese taste honestly pretty good. This cheese is really potent, I guess you could say. It's like got a lot of flavor in it. A lot going on with it. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but it is really nice. But the whiskey ended up changing a lot.
I don't think it made the whiskey taste any different, but it made the cheese taste better.
It made the cheese taste better?
Yeah.
Did you go back to the whiskey, though?
Yeah, I just did.
Oh. I feel like there was less sweetness on the whiskey after the cheese. I feel like it kind of brought it down to, like, some more, those gritty notes forward, but also, like, maybe a little bit of, like, white pepper, I guess, maybe. Some kind of, like, darker, like, I almost want to say, like, tobacco or leather or something like that. It was good. It definitely was interesting. But I'm really excited for this cheese. This cheese is fantastic. We got a whole... How much did we get? Half pound?
Half a pound, yeah.
So, half pound cheese. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it'll suffice.
It was not expensive. It was only like $9.
Yeah, so a lot less sweet on the palate after the cheese. Like, a lot less sweet. Definitely brings in some darker character notes. And it's interesting because I didn't get much dark character notes, if any, on the first sip of the whiskey. But now going cheese, whiskey, it kind of is opening up into those darker notes that maybe a young whiskey might not have. Port finish, yes, the Angel's Envy is port finished. Best snacks with whiskey would be a great video as well.
We had a fun video.
Absolutely.
You know what we could do? We could pair with the pumpkin bars.
That's
Just
true.
to have some left.
We could. Maybe we'll be bringing out some pumpkin bars later. When that happens, we should definitely have some water too because I forgot to get some and I'm thirsty. But
Okay.
Hang Easy says, hit the like button. It's free. It 100% is free. So if you guys feel obligated, please hit the like button. Or,
Wait, if you feel obligated, just do it anyway.
Just do it anyway, yeah. Screw obligation. If you guys don't do it, my feelings are really gonna be hurt. But that being said, this was good. However, I think it's time to move on to something a little bit closer to what I would expect to go nicely with this stuff. And that is Angel's Envy Bourbon, finished in port wine barrels. Now, I love port wine. Port wine is my favorite wine. I love the viscosity. I love how thick it is, how rich it is, how boozy it is.
I thought you said bougie.
No, boozy.
I didn't know bougie was a word to describe whiskey. Yeah, that was funny for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But this Angel's Envy didn't exactly live up to the expectation. I mean, I think I really liked it when I first was getting into whiskey.
He really liked it. He was like, oh my gosh.
I love the bottle. I mean, look at the bottle. I mean, for people who are just getting into whiskey, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's got angel wings on the back. But for people who are just getting into whiskey, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's 80 proof. It's sweet. It has, like, you can tell that there's port notes in there. It's just that she had put it in a blind against some other better whiskeys. And comparatively, this did not live up.
Because I didn't mix, like, the whiskey. Like, I didn't, like, you know what I mean? I didn't pick it. Like, you know, I could have picked ones that, like, would have, like, been the same as this one.
Right, you could have picked other 80 proof ones or other really sweet ones, but you didn't.
That's not what I'm going. That's not going to.
Yeah, but her goal is to mess me up. So, you know, usually it's mission accomplished. So, that being said, I can get those port notes in here. Definitely smells really sweet for most bourbons. It honestly smells like it has a little bit more proof than 80. I would not guess 80 on this nose. But ooh, weird palate. I mean, the palate's okay.
Smells weird.
The palate has some, like, pretty bland notes, I would say. Almost like a little bit of, like, a peppery, light caramel, little bit of oak. Not a whole lot, but the finish is where all those port wine notes come through and kind of, like, envelop and, like, crawl back up your throat, and it's just, like, really fruity and nice. It's actually pretty nice.
Went from it's weird to
the finish. No, the finish is pretty nice.
To it's nice.
No, the finish is pretty nice.
Oh.
I don't think I like the palate much, if at all. But the finish is nice. I think you might like that one. That one's only 80 proof, so it's really easy to drink, but the finish on it is a little sweeter. But now we're gonna go ahead and go in with the cheese.
Do you know what it tastes like?
What? This girl and her celery notes, I swear.
Mm. Are you gonna read that comment? It's bugging me. You just put it up there and didn't read it.
Hey, Nazy says Japanese peanuts are my favorite whiskey snack.
What's a Japanese peanut? I need to know. Should I just Google it?
I don't know what a Japanese peanut is. Hey, Nazy, what's a Japanese peanut?
Where is everyone today?
I don't know. They must not like cheese. Okay, so interesting. Same thing is happening here with this Angel's Envy is the cheese is really stealing all of the sweetness out of the finish and palate on this one. I'm not sure what that's all about, but it kind of took my favorite part of this whiskey and really killed it down.
Yeah,
now
these two didn't go well together.
that may differ when we get to the higher proof stuff, and I do have some things that switch it up. Like the next one that I have is definitely going to switch up the aspect of what I'm going for here. But that one was only okay. Anyways, he says Basil Hayden's versus Angel's Envy shootout. Yeah, I don't know about Basil Hayden's, but I haven't actually had it, so it might actually do okay. I didn't even read this one. He said I resisted that bottle. Way better bottles for $50. I believe he's talking about Angel's Envy. Yeah, I mean, I actually before I got into whiskey, I had that recommended to me by like a 70-year-old man. He was really cool. He's a really cool guy, but he'd recommended it to me, so I was always excited to try it. I bought it. It definitely was amazing when I first had it as a beginner and not knowing, because I mean, I could tell that it was sweeter than other whiskeys. Now having had, it's like, is it really that good? And no, it's not. You need some apples on the side for contrast. Ooh,
that sounds yummy.
That does sound really good, like a green apple. Like
do you have an apple in the fridge?
I don't have any apples in the fridge. I wish I did. That's a really good idea. Cheese and apples and oh man, I should have had a whole charcuterie board here. We'll do a charcuterie board.
If you guys have never had apples dipped in cheese fondue,
oh,
so freaking good. And
yeah,
I thought it would be weird at first. Oh my god, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, he said it's a peanut that is inside a coated shell.
Like, oh, okay, yeah. I've never.
You mean like a normal peanut?
Yeah, like a normal peanut, but like.
But peanuts are already in shells.
No, I think it's like candied or something. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Thinking like not a Jordan almond, more like kind of like what we had.
Kind of like what we had at
the
Brewers game. Top Shelf Dustin is in the house. Cheers, Top Shelf Dustin. Whiskey and cheese. That's what my dad had nearly every day after he got home when I was a kid. It's a great snack to have. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little whiskey and cheese pairing. I wish I had multiple kinds of cheese that would also like amp up this experience, but it wasn't.
Go get the fake cheese.
Yeah, it wasn't that expensive, but like for just cheese, it was. I mean, this is what, $10?
No, okay, hold on. I don't think you understand how expensive cheese really is.
Well, no, I know cheese is expensive.
There's like people out there that taste cheese like you taste whiskey, and they'll pay like
an
assload of money for
100%.
a pound of cheese, whereas you'll pay an assload of money for a bottle of bourbon, and they probably think, "Gosh, I would just spend $50 on a bottle of bourbon."
You got a point there.
And then you're over here like $10 for half a pound of cheese. That's so expensive. Where did that go? I didn't even get a second sip.
You didn't have a second sip after you tasted the cheese?
I don't need a second sip.
Okay, well, basically, it's the same thing seems to be happening here. The flavor of the cheese is killing the sweetness of the whiskey. Either the whiskey's not sweet enough, or the cheese is bitter enough that it cancels each other out. Now, like I said before, this cheese is very strong, I guess you would say. I would say in terms of flavor, it's like full-bodied. I don't know if that's like what people use to describe cheese, but it has like very potent notes, I guess you could say, overpowering notes. You only eat a little bit because that little bit will coat your entire mouth full of flavors, which is awesome. But As far as pairing with whiskey, I think it's going to require some different changes to what we're doing here in whiskey, and that's what I'll get to next. But no candy shell, or not candy shell. He said.
Maybe we're wrong.
Maybe is that just normal peanuts then? Because normal peanuts already have a shell.
I don't think.
Or maybe he was saying the normal shell isn't a candy shell. Top Shelf doesn't says if you like cheddar, cabot, something like that. Extra sharp from Walmart. It's a pound block for a great price, and it's awesome. I believe it. Our Walmarts and stuff around here, they have so much good cheeses. Oh yeah, I see that. The shell is a wheat flour coated over the peanut. So
yeah, I showed him a picture. We're all good. Holden understands now.
Mm-hmm. So the sweetness is really doing us dirty here. So we are gonna bust out the Elijah Craig rye. Those of you who don't know, this is kind of a more robust flavor profile, I think, in terms of whiskeys that I have. Lots of darker notes on this, a lot of oak presence, but also has like this nice like black pepper and leather. I think I recall. So we're gonna see if those darker notes, those really strong like oak and black peppery notes, go good with this cheese. Because if you think about cheese, you think about stuff like pepper jack or that kind of thing. That spice that comes through along with all the spice in this rye might complement the cheese a lot. So we're going to go ahead and see how the Elijah Craig rye compares. But first, we're going to have to get it on the palate and remind myself what this actually tastes like. And Lauren's never had it, so new experiences for her all around today. Okay, so like I remember, a lot less sweet.
You really heavy poured that.
Well, I wanted to coat. I didn't want to.
It's like a Loren pour.
This is like a Loren pour. Really dark for a rye, actually. I just wanted to get it nice coating in the glass, so there wasn't any of that Angel's Envy leftovers in it. I don't have my water here, so
I go get you one.
Sure, you can go get me a water while I kind of do the initial review of this. But I have that tiki cup on the counter. You can just fill that. I don't really care what's in it. Just.
We don't get fancy cups on our channel.
I guess you can grab a fancy cup. It's not one that wobbles, please. But anyway, this Elijah Craig rye, a lot darker notes. Kind of get like a funky leather. There is a bit of butterscotch in there as well, but more on the herbaceous rye forward, rye spice side of it. A lot of oak in there as well, along with that, like I said, black pepper and maybe a little hint of leather or tobacco. Ooh, oh yeah, palate and finish. All like at first just a little bit of butterscotch, but then breaking into that black peppery, leathery palate. I think this one may be one that goes very well with the cheese. But now we have some water here, so Lauren's gonna.
Here you go.
Bring that. Oh my goodness, it's full. Hydration is important, everybody. Now, Lauren's going to go ahead and try that. What does it smell like? Got anything on the nose there?
It really doesn't smell like much.
It's a little bit harder of a nose on this one. It's kind of spicy, so you might be just getting proof overload on that. How's that?
Cardboard.
Cardboard? Wow, that is a rough rough estimation from Loren here. Cardboard is not something that, oh my goodness, people love to hear, but it looks like that might be my piece. Like I said, I think this one's going to go a lot better with the cheese. Having all these darker notes in there and kind of like a peppery, spicy background is going to help this one.
I feel like a bird eating cheese. Like, wait, what? A mouse.
Mice, yeah.
Yeah. It makes the cheese strong.
What does? The whiskey?
Mm-hmm. Oops. I think there's a little cheese on the glass.
Wow. You're right. It makes the cheese very. I mean, that cheese already had a very potent.
I feel like we were expecting it to do stuff to the whiskey, but I think the whiskey is only changing the cheese.
No, on the back end, the other way around, is killing all the sweetness and all those other whiskeys. A lot. Oh. Yeah. That's better. That's already better. I think that might be the key here is to go with a little bit spicier of whiskeys. Oh, and I see one up there that I'm going to pull down next. A little bit spicier of whiskeys, that helps it a lot. So you're done eating the cheese? Go back in there and tell me what you think.
I did it 2 times.
Oh, you already went back to it?
You're not doing a very good job paying attention.
What did you get on the back end there?
Nothing. I just tasted more cheese.
More cheese. Basically, those dark notes in there, it almost turned into like a pepper jack cheese. I mean, almost exactly what you would expect, but it's elevated. So like going from a sweet whiskey, taking out all the sweet notes and elevating those darker notes, kind of like defeats the purpose of a sweet whiskey. But you start with a whiskey that already has those dark notes, and it's something that you're expecting in the whiskey. And then you eat the cheese, and the cheese is just like, I mean, like upgraded. It definitely is like upgraded with the cheese. And then when it's going back to the whiskey, having all that extra spice and peppery darkness, that's good. I like that a lot.
I think that one would taste better with like one of those cheeses that's like crusted in black pepper. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Or like one with like the stuff inside. Do you know what I mean? Not like pepper jack, but like some of them have like stuff inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a crystal in that one.
The crystals are cool.
It just like makes the cheese like something's going on in there with the whiskey and the cheese. It makes your mouth salivate, and it just like makes everything just flooded with flavor in your mouth. Yeah, I like that one. So far, I think this is going the best with the cheese, but we do have one more wine finish one that I want to try before we go back to, into the darker stuff. But Hanging AZ says, anyway, they will go great with bourbon. Even nutty ones like Beam. Okay, just for your peanuts. Yeah, that makes sense. I bet it would go really good with some Bookers. That's nice. Hanging AZ says, need to get out of my monocle and start my smoking jacket for this fancy stream. Yeah, well.
Is that because we have cheese? Are we fancy because we have cheese?
I don't know. We must be. The fanciest people on WhiskeyTube. Just kidding. I'm not sure if anyone else. I know that the Whiskey Mutant, I think, pairs a lot of things. Whether he's ever done it with like Wisconsin cheese or like really nice cheese, I'm not sure. But this is definitely like eye-opening.
I wonder how like other countries feel about like Wisconsin cheese. Like, you know how like other countries like think that California wine is disgusting.
Oh yeah.
Like, I wonder if they feel that way about Wisconsin cheeses. But like, I feel like they probably don't, because Wisconsin cheeses win like best cheese in the world like all the time.
True.
So like they must not.
This is actually an Italian style cheese,
Italian
just so you guys know. But it is Wisconsin. Top Shelf Dustin says, my dad was a turkey guy with cheese. I like it all. That's interesting. Maybe I'll have to pull out. What do you think would go better, Top Shelf? What Turkey 101 or Rare Breed? Let me know and I'll pull one of those out.
You finished all your Turkey 101.
No, I didn't. I finished the Elijah Craig.
Oh.
Yeah. Turkey 101, there's a dribble in there, and then Rare Breed have a decent amount. Derek says, I am breaking all kinds of work policies, so I can't watch, but have a great live stream. Thank you, sir. Yes, Enjoy work.
Don't get fired.
Yes, don't get fired. But thank you for stopping in and saying hey. We appreciate that. Top Shelf Dustin says I would do 101. All right, I'll grab that after I. Actually, I'll do it first because the 101's gonna have a little bit lower proof, and that one's higher proof, and it drinks higher proof too. So we're gonna work our way up to that. But I'm gonna grab the 101 here. Not a whole lot left. In fact, if I was drinking this alone, if I was only drinking this bottle, it would definitely be a bottle kill kind of night. However, that is not the case. So we're going to pull out a new glass and pour a dram of Turkey 101. It's been so long since I've had just a good pour of this. Sometimes the bottles get a little bit low, and since I don't want to buy a new one, I don't finish them. I just avoid drinking them. So I've had this one for probably a couple months. The cork's almost dry. That's how long it's been since I drank it. But we are going to now get this Wild Turkey 101 with cheese. Hey, AZ says, Wisconsin has the great dairies, hence great cheese. You're right. It says dairies. I put the I before the A, but the A before the I.
Yeah, it's okay.
Wisconsin has the great dairies, hence great cheese. Yes, we do. You should see the amount of cows here. Moo, if I've ever seen it. But, I mean, you know how many people I went to school with? And I grew up in the country, mind you. But the amount of people I went to school with that show cattle and cows, they have pet cows and cows that live in the house and cows
in
here and cows that, like baby cows. Well, they don't live in the house forever, but
I don't want to live in the house with a cow.
But yeah, I mean, lots of cows here in Wisconsin. So cheese, yeah, we know how to make cheese. Dr. Dustin then says, "What's his work policy stuff? I'm 100% watch at my work computer with a glass of whiskey." Honestly, Dr. Dustin, I want to work where you work. That sounds fantastic. I mean, my bosses probably would be cool with me doing that if it was this time of night, but I usually get done working around 2 o'clock. So if I started drinking before then, I think they'd be questioning my my habits. But Wild Turkey 101 on the nose. It's sweet, cinnamon, vanilla, cherries, some oak. You guys all know it. It's Wild Turkey 101, but it is fantastic. So. Oof. I love the palate of this one. I love Wild Turkey. What do you think? It didn't quite boost it up.
I'm a little confused what happened in my mouth.
Try it again. It didn't quite boost it up as much as the Elijah Craig. Oh, but going back to it, that real cinnamony, spicy finish from the Wild Turkey, that's really nice on the back end after the cheese. Beforehand, don't think it's quite doing as much for the cheese as the cheese is doing for it, because the cheese is making the finish of it fantastic. But from the turkey to the cheese, I don't know.
I don't like it.
It's a no from Loren.
No for me.
And for me, like I said, it's not doing anything special for the cheese. Not the way we want it to, but the cheese is doing leaps and bounds for this. On the finish anyway. That spice, that cinnamon spice that's in the end of this Wild Turkey 101, that finishes really nicely with this cheese. What's so funny?
The last comment.
Top Dustin says, yeah, I started working at about 8 a.m. So, well, then I think you deserve a little something, something. Hey, Nizi says, I just got a new bottle of 101 for $19.99. Always bragging over there from Arizona. Always bragging. Top Shelf Dustin says, I still don't think I've ever bought a 101. It's always been my bar pour when I was out. That's a good bar pour. Not a lot of bars have it around here. More bars have Elijah Craig, Woodford Reserve, and Maker's Mark. But, or what my dad had, yeah. Do you just have one cheese? Where's the cheddar?
This is what I laughed at.
Yeah.
So Holden likes to diet, and cheese is not a diet food. So we don't keep cheese in the house because Holden would have a breakdown. I do think we have one other fancy cheese here, though.
We do, but I think it's like jalapeno.
No, it's not. It's garlic and herb, I think.
Oh, but it's for your brother, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but if we had a little bit, it's not like he'd throw a fit.
Well, you can grab it if you want. Yeah, so we only have two kinds of cheese. One of them
neither of which are cheddar.
Yeah, neither of which are cheddar.
I don't like cheddar.
Cheddar's okay.
It's very just. I think there's better cheese.
I think cheddar is closer to like this.
Yeah, cheddar is. It's like this is honestly like a sharp white cheddar.
Yeah, it really is. It's very like sharp. The right word for how this one tastes. It's full-bodied, potent, dry. All right, so for those of you who weren't here earlier, this is the Burning Chair. It is 57.34% alcohol, which comes out to like 114.68 proof. And it's 60% finished in Grenache, 25% finished in Zinfandel, and 15% finished in Cabernet Sauvignon. So this is one that I just picked up from the wine cellar in a Pier. Obviously, if you guys are watching the channel, you probably have heard me talk about them before. They hook it up with many bottles, including my little book and a couple of, I honestly get a lot of my stuff from there. They're great guys over there. But this is one they blended with the people over here themselves. So this is a store pick situation. And it's really fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and do a little mini review on it before we bust into the cheese with this one. This one is really sweet though. So right away, you can definitely tell this is the proofiest one we've had all night. The sweetness in there has a lot of like vanilla and caramel. A little bit of oak as well, but not overpowering. It's like got like this candy on the nose, almost like I want to say like Smarties. Maybe not Smarties, but like a sweet candied fruit maybe. The wine is really doing it justice here, but it smells really sweet, like candy sweet on the nose. I think Smarties might even be the right note.
I don't like Smarties, so I'm not feeling very optimistic.
Well, Smarties is a pretty deep note. I don't know if you're gonna get Smarties. No offense, but you said celery for the other one, and then you said...
I said celery because it tastes like celery.
But we're going to go down the palate. Ooh. So the finish of this one, fantastic. The palate actually had some darker notes. Whoops.
Why are you playing with knives?
The palate actually had some darker notes than I would have expected. I almost want to say I got a little bit of like a peppery note on the palate as well. Along with some caramel that came across on the front side of the palate. But in the finish of the palate, talk about dark fruits like blackberry jam, plum, like a little bit of like pepperiness, but not a whole lot. It definitely had some spice in it, maybe a little bit of nutmeg, but the finish of this one, really great. So what did you think about it? Oh, you're eating the cheese now.
That was my piece of cheese.
That one has a crust.
I know I don't like the crust.
I'll eat the crust. Okay.
Oh.
What's up?
Makes the cheese taste alcoholic.
I know. I was literally about to say, it feels like the cheese, that the extra proof in this one, like flamed up with the cheese. Like, yeah, it feels like the proof opened up all of the taste buds in my mouth, and like the cheese went on it, and it just like, it's like adding gasoline to a fire. It just like everything just exploded. But now we're gonna go back to this.
Well, I went back to that quicker than you did. And I have to eat more cheese. Eat more.
Oh, yeah. Wow. This one's actually doing pretty well.
I think we just need
more proof.
Yeah, because the cheese is so heavy.
Yeah, these ones are just a little too thin, those first couple.
Yeah.
The proof definitely is a lifesaver here. That's good. And that's good to know. We're kind of moving our way toward bigger and better things here with that learning. Henry Z says 101 goes down with gum and cheese. 101 goes good with gum and cheese. I don't know what gum and cheese is. But I believe it. It was good. This one went good with it. Like I said, this one's very sharp. Loren had a good note when we were talking about how sharp it was. But I can imagine, even with like a more mild cheese, a lot of these would probably go well with too. I think that that crust has all the sweetness.
Yeah, well, that's why I told you. That's where they put the whiskey.
Yeah. So, Top Shelf Dustin says, to be fair, I haven't had food in 2 days. Whiskey doesn't count. # diet. You actually haven't had food in 2 days? Are you fasting?
Just whiskey?
I mean, I've done a 3-day fast, so I understand.
I didn't eat for 2 days, and I had a sip of whiskey. I wouldn't be alive. Also, Holden would be alive because I have hanker problems.
Oh yeah, I'd be dead for sure. She would have killed me on sight. And as he says, I like pepper jack.
I love
to
pepper
be
jack.
fair, he says a to be fair counter. It's gonna be a new drinking game here on the Bourbon bar. Every time I say to be fair, everyone has to take a shot.
Of what?
Malort. Just kidding. Take a shot of Crown Apple if you have it.
You say it so much, you want to take those Malort shots.
No, we don't have to take it. They have to take it.
Have a
It's a drinking game for the viewers.
Problem.
But that should just be, I think that's just going to be my cheers from now on. Every time I'm in a bar and I have to like do a salute, I'll just say, to be fair, and then I'll just drink.
I'm not going to help anymore.
You don't often anyway. Hanging Z says I could go for some Pez right now. Ooh, Pez sounds good. I think that could be like Pez and Smarties are very similar.
I would just put Pez in the little like dispenser thing, and then I would just like, I don't know why I wouldn't just eat them out of the little container, because I would just eat all of them out of it, and then my Pez would be empty.
So you liked Pez, but you didn't like Smarties?
No. Pez actually has flavor. Smarties taste like nothing.
Smarties taste like sugar.
Yeah, well, I want flavor.
I like sugar.
Gosh, you have problems. Okay, he's answering our question.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Top Chef Justin says government, aka government.
Yeah, okay. It's the cheese you have in the fridge. At Wahlburgers, the place they're gonna put in the mall.
Yeah.
Their cheese, like on their menu, like they describe what kind of burger it is. So like they're saying, oh, it's with this kind of cheese. Their main burger, like they're just like cheeseburger, is a patty, and then it says like with government cheese. The first time I went, I had to ask my dad what the hell government cheese was, and
wait, it's actually called government cheese?
No, people just call it that. I don't know why, but
Top Chef doesn't say that I've done some 10-day fasts, no whiskey. It's great unless you're in the gym. Yeah, the 3-day fast I did, I went to the gym all 3 days. And while it's not as much as a 10-day fast, I'm not a very big guy, so a 3-day fast is still a lot for me. I felt like absolute garbage, and I was just dying. Hanging Z says Woodford with Parmesan, Pappy with Gouda. I would need to find a Pappy first. And then Makers with Brie, according to winemag.com. Interesting.
Well, I only have Parmigiano Reggiano.
Parmigiano Reggiano?
Parmigiano Reggiano. So
Parmigiano
it's
Reggiano.
It's not going to taste as good with the Woodford.
Yeah.
We have Gouda, but we don't have Pappy.
Wait.
That's what the other cheese is.
The other cheese is a Gouda?
Yeah. And then...
is it very Gouda?
We have Makers, but we don't have Brie.
We only have Makers 46. We don't have normal Makers. But, close enough. They're both weighted mash bills. But Handy Z says they used to be given away to people, big blocks of
like
Velveeta type cheese.
It's like the one that you have in the fridge.
Welfare cheese. Interesting. What, like my fake cheese?
Yeah, but like crab singles would be similar.
Top Shelf Dustin says, nah, gym is good fasted in days 2 and 3 once you're done a few fasts. It's about day 5 that you're no longer able. I believe it. I never went to day 5. That's just too much for me. I just did complete fast. The only thing I had was water and 100% black coffee. So
100%.
Well, like
you can just say black coffee. That black coffee
means
that there's nothing.
Yeah, but some people say black coffee, and what they mean is black coffee with milk and fake sugar.
That's the whole point, is that that's not black anymore.
Well, I know that, but tell that to everyone else. It's almost empty.
I don't care.
Me too. The cheese is making me thirsty, dang it. But yeah, so Carl M. Schwarber says, I like mild cheeses with sweet whiskeys and sharp cheese with others.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sharper. We don't have any sweet cheese.
Yeah, this is a sharper cheese.
We're gonna redo this one day, and we're gonna have a
variety. We're gonna have a whole
we're too poor to invest in more cheese, so
for sure.
We're too busy spending all our money on whiskey.
We do spend a lot of money on whiskey, guys.
I shouldn't say we. I don't spend my money. Actually, that's a lie. I bought a blanket today, but that's it.
Yeah, she did buy a blanket today. I think for the next one, I might go with the. Ooh, I bet one of the Elijah Craigs might be okay with this one. Actually, here's a real funky one that we're gonna try out.
Oh, yay.
This one has so much malt in it that it might actually go really well with this cheese. This is.
I'm not gonna dirty very many glasses.
Well, I know, but none of those are empty. I keep pouring too heavy.
No, you just
this one's called Dragon's Milk Origin, as you guys know. This is one of the birthday bottles I got from Loren. It's from New Holland Distillery and Brewing. It's the same people who make Dragon's Milk beer. So the bourbon barrel aged beers called Dragon's Milk. That's these guys, and this is a 5-year-old bourbon. It's a very high barley, I believe, and it has some very, very malty notes. But it's got a lot of malted chocolate and but dark malt. Hard to explain. It's 95 proof, and it's aged 5 years. So we are going to go ahead and see how this one pairs with cheese. Having a lot more of those dark malty notes. Oh, right away. I mean, this almost even feels on par with the flavor of the cheese. This nose, the maltiness in this nose, and along with some of that chocolatey, tobacco-y funk. It definitely has some kind of funk in it.
Oh, it smells weird.
Yeah, it's super malt. I mean, it's really malty. It almost is exactly what you would think it would taste like when you've had a barrel aged stout beer. I bet this one would go really well with the stinky cheese. It kind of has that stinky cheese vibe.
Oh my god, it makes it taste like stinky cheese.
I know. It's actually not bad. That actually tames this cheese, the sharpness in this cheese, I think. At least for me, it did. Yeah, the malt is almost overpowering for the cheese in this one, but I think it makes the cheese taste a little bit less aggressive, a lot less sharp even.
I don't know.
It almost rounds the cheese out.
I feel like I can taste more flavors in the cheese with that one.
Yeah, but
But I don't think it's doing anything to the sharpness of it.
I feel like it just rounds it. I don't know if I would say less sharp because it's still potent like a sharp cheese.
I need to think about what you're saying right now. So it's not less sharp, but it's rounded.
When I say rounded, I mean
No, I'm just asking you to think about how funny.
Oh no, yeah, I understand. When I'm saying rounded, I'm saying it has all those notes in the cheese kind of all blend together, and while it's still strong like a sharp cheese, it kind of it's not boom, it's sharp. It's more things are happening. It's evolving in your mouth, kind of the way whiskey normally does. It's got layers to it, and that's what I'm saying when it gets rounded out a little bit. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. That one's not bad. Anyways, he says I can do a 12-hour fast. Exercise too much for longer. Yeah, well, you're a bike rider, so any kind of cardio when you do fasting and stuff too. Ugh, no, thank you. Half Shop Dustin says the first 2 days of a fast are the worst. LOL, it's day 3 and especially 4 that you kind of hit the good spot and stop being hungry. Yeah, for sure. I mean, drowning myself in water. I think day 1 was the hardest for me. Day 2 was actually easier for me because I kind of had accepted that I wasn't going to be eating anything all day, and then I just toughed it out. And it says, and you feel amazing because it's cell autophagy. If you're using really sharp cheddar, maybe try the 4 Roses if you have it. I don't have 4 Roses, but I bet that would be a really good one. One that I was going to pull out is the it's right there. Remus Repeal Reserve 5. Very high rye mash bill on that one. Yeah. Carl M. Schwarber says, I'm drinking Horse Soldier Silver with mozzarella. Ooh, that sounds fantastic.
We could have had mozzarella. My parents have mozzarella balls in their fridge, and I know they did because I saw it.
Man, we really weren't prepared for this, were we?
Prepared.
I mean, I thought this one cheese would have been enough, and now after talking with you guys about it, I really feel like
we'll redo this next time, and we'll be more prepared.
We'll redo this with a whole charcuterie board of cheeses, and even
charcuterie board.
Yeah, we'll bring some cheese in there. We'll bring some. Might even bring some meat in there. I have smoked ribs in the fridge right now, but we're not gonna bust into those. They're probably old by now.
We'll get some like prosciutto and stuff. Ooh, yummy.
One thing I can tell you though.
Cheese makes you thirsty.
Between cheese and the whiskey, oh my god, I'm like so parched.
Cheese is salty and alcohol makes you thirsty.
I know, yeah. Alcohol dehydrates you and cheese is very salty. Okay. Main verdict so far.
And should we switch to a pumpkin bar?
Sure. We'll do one more.
Let's ask the crowd if they want a pumpkin bar. Otherwise, I'm not going to go there and get it.
Ooh, prosciutto. Yes. All right, everybody. So, here's a question. Would you rather see us pair some stuff with a pumpkin bar? Or would you rather see us
drink more whiskey with this cheese?
Drink more whiskey with this cheese, or we could get the other cheese.
Or we could get the other cheese.
Or we could get the...
I don't remember. I think it's a basil garlic or something like that.
A basil garlic Gouda.
But that's also not our cheese. That's my brother's cheese.
Yeah, it doesn't belong to us. He'll probably get upset if we eat it. Yeah, we're gonna skip that one. Okay, so your options are we can either do a couple more whiskeys with this cheese, or we can go and grab the pumpkin bars, and we'll do a pumpkin bar with some of these whiskeys. But while you guys contemplate those options, I am gonna pull down one more because I think this one will go pretty well. This one always, for me, has had some of those spicier rye notes. A lot of rye spice and tobacco, leather, a little bit of caramel in the palate as well. So it has a little bit of sweetness, but I almost spilled that all over my computer. A little bit of sweetness, but not too much sweetness. So I think this one might do the trick for this cheese. And then at the end of this, we're gonna go ahead and let you guys know which one of these we thought was the best. And so far, I think the wine cellar pick is in first place between the wine cellar pick and the Elijah Craig barrel, or the Elijah Craig rye. I think are the two top contenders for this one. Whiskey to Whiskey is in the chat. Cheers, Whiskey to Whiskey. Thanks for stopping in. Got to see some whiskey glasses and some flames there. All right, so we're doing the Remus Repeal Reserve 5. This is a very well-aged stated blend of bourbons. It's 100 proof, 50% alcohol, and they're all bourbon, but they do have they're all high rye mash bills. So 3 of the mash bills are 21% rye, and then the other 2 are 36% rye. But the 36% rye mash bills make up 60% of this blend. So very rye heavy, very high age statements. Yeah, it's got all those desirable old age rye spicy notes in it. So you can tell right away on the palate, or I mean on the nose.
My foot's tingling every time I touch the ground.
Why?
I don't know.
Your leg asleep?
It must have been.
These chairs are not comfortable, guys.
Oh, did it again. Swallow it.
Oop. did it
You didn't
again.
know that song until this weekend.
Yeah, I did.
Well, you were like, what song is this? We were all like, are you crazy?
Ooh. I think this one's doing it for me.
Ooh, that one's really gross.
And we're all out of water.
I breathed it in. That one, I don't like that one. Good.
Okay.
I can see why you like it, but I don't like that whiskey. The whiskey is not good.
Yeah, this one's doing okay. This one is near that Elijah Craig. The Elijah Craig rye. Yeah. So the rye, I think it's a rye thing or a spice thing. I think the spicier, darker noted whiskeys are going well with this sharp cheese. Now, the reason Loren didn't like this, a very similar reason to why I didn't necessarily love this when I first got it.
That wasn't that whiskey. That was the other one over there that you didn't like.
Huh?
You didn't like the other one.
No, I mean, like, I liked it, but when I bought this whiskey, there was so much hype about it on Whiskey Tube that everyone was putting it in their end of the year blinds. They're like, this is the best whiskey we've ever had. Bang for your buck. It's so amazing. And I really didn't think so. Like, I thought it was good, sure. But I did not think it was whiskey of the year caliber whiskey. However, I was younger back then. I didn't have as much whiskey, and I didn't appreciate those darker and rye forward notes as much as I do now. Now, coming back to this after a long time of not having it. I had it the other night and pleasantly surprised. I'm much more accustomed to all those rye notes, all those leather, tobacco, all like dark notes along with that age statement. And now I really like this a lot, but that never used to be the case. And Loren's reaction to it, I 100% understand, because for someone who doesn't drink a lot of whiskey, and she doesn't drink a lot of whiskey, I mean, apart from what she drinks here with me, that's it as far as whiskey drinking goes for her. It's a little bit aggressive for her. A lot of rye spice, a lot of spice. Leather and tobacco, not very likable notes for a beginner, depending on the beginner, because a lot of beginners love that sweetness, and this doesn't have much of that, apart from some caramel, which I like a lot. But that being said, fantastic. Whiskey to Whiskey says 5 is delicious. That it is. Top Shelf Dustin says Remus 5 was a great bourbon. That said, it's nothing mind-blowing. And that was my thoughts exactly, basically, when I had it last year when I got it. I wish I had 2 more, but I say that about a lot of whiskey. Yeah, I mean, if I had 2 more of every whiskey on the shelf, I wouldn't be complaining. Carl says taste is subjective. We all have different tastes. And that's 100% correct. That's kind of why, I mean, we do this. I know that she doesn't necessarily drink whiskey or necessarily even like whiskey for that matter. I mean, I think she likes the exploration of it, but she would never choose to drink a dram of whiskey. I mean, if she had the choice between whiskey, wine, soda, beer, I think whiskey would be the last on the list. Maybe
a bottle of whiskey.
Depending on the night, I guess. But yeah,
whiskey in something before.
she loves doing stuff with whiskey, desserts, food, cooking, cocktails. She likes that kind of stuff with whiskey a lot less or a lot more than just straight. Straight's just a little bit too much alcohol for her. Yeah. So that being said, I didn't see many answers about the pumpkin bars or cheese, so I think you should go get the pumpkin bars. Or just go get 1 pumpkin bar or like a piece of pumpkin bar.
A little.
I'm not going to eat very much of it, but we're going to go ahead and put the cheese away. We'll kind of recap. How we feel. Oh, wonderful that. Kind of recap how we feel about this cheese and the whiskeys that we had with it, because we had some hitters. We had some less than hitters, I guess you would say. We definitely had some that did not amaze us, and that surprisingly was the 2 of the first ones that we had. But understandably, since they're such low proof, I don't think they offered as much or enough to. I don't think they offered enough to kind of combat the sharpness of this cheese. Also, the Bourbon Bar now has a mini fridge in the bar, so moving up in the world, luckily. Yeah, Loren is grabbing a pumpkin bar, and we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of mixing and matching with the pumpkin bar here before the stream is over. We're already at an hour point, so I'm thinking it's going to be a nice short stream tonight, but we're going to go ahead and see if we can't find something to match this pumpkin bar right away. Since we have it.
Oops, I smushed the frosting.
Oh, that looks so good.
Okay. You're going to drink that.
Wow. Cheese and whiskey, man. That's a lot. Cheese and whiskey is a lot. I almost feel like cheese gets you drunker faster, too.
Are you on crack?
No, but I haven't drank that much whiskey. I mean, I've had a sip of 5 or 6 different whiskey. A sip of 7 different whiskeys, but that can't be more than 2 ounces of bourbon. So I can't imagine
you also
that
have barely eaten.
I ate 4 sandwiches before we started this.
That does not matter.
But
okay, pick out a whiskey.
We're gonna go with this one. This one is the wine cellar one.
Are you sure?
I believe so. Actually, I believe so.
Okay.
Hold on, everybody.
What's this one?
That one should be the Elijah Craig rye. This one is 100% the Dragon's Milk. There's no doubt about that one. That one I believe is Elijah Craig rye. This is the one I was just drinking, wasn't it?
I wasn't paying
That would be Remus. And this one, no, this one's Remus. This one should be the wine cellar.
We're just...
Sorry, guys. We're all over the place. Oh, yeah. This one's a wine cellar. So, wine cellar. There's some wine finish notes in here, and we're going to go with pumpkin bar. If this doesn't work, something tells me Elijah Craig C921 is going to be the move.
Okay, what happened there?
I'm not even sure. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Try it. Did you try it?
Well, not with that.
Try it. What do you try it with?
Nothing, I just...
Oh my goodness. The cinnamon and pumpkin with the whiskey, I don't think I've ever tasted something that made a better combination. That is so good. That is literally so freaking good. Oh, yeah. That's so anticlimactic for how excited I was.
It tastes good.
Independent Joe is in the chat. Cheers, Independent Joe. Huh?
It tastes like a cinnamon.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like the cinnamon.
Excite you from when we make the bread pudding.
Yeah, the cinnamon with the pumpkin and what kind of frosting is this? Cream cheese. But with this whiskey, I don't know if it's just whiskey in general opening the taste buds and kind of helping everything along. But going back to the whiskey, the finish of that whiskey had that those sweet wine notes that came from the wine finish in this bottle. But then it added that pumpkin spice, and I went full white girl. I'm talking I had my Uggs on, and I was vaping and going to Starbucks, and full white girl on that one. Yes, Independent Joe, thanks for stopping in. Always glad to see you here, even if I don't know if I've seen you here before, but I know who you are, and I've seen you around, and I've talked to you. So that being said, I think we're going to bust out some Elijah Craig C921, my favorite batch that I have on the shelf. In fact, I even have 2 bottles of it, which I don't have of very many whiskeys. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and do a little bit of finishing of this because it's so good. But these pumpkin bars are good too. I mean, that alone, that helps it so much.
I only thought they're mediocre. I thought they could have been fluffier.
When you're dieting, everything.
Okay, you need to stop, but you need to just tell me that I'm a good cook.
You're great. You're a great
I'm
cook.
dieting, so everything is going to taste good.
Yeah, that was really good. I think the pumpkin and the cinnamon, especially the cinnamon has done something for that whiskey that is really good. Now, it's going to be hard to determine, or it's going to be easy to determine, but is that cinnamon going to do it for every whiskey that we have here, or is it just that one whiskey that I was helping? I feel like a really sweet cinnamon is kind of one of those things that, like, it's a very, like, bourbon-specific note as well, so it helps it a lot. Now this glass is cold, so it's going to make my Elijah Craig cold, so that's going to be interesting, but we're going to send it anyway. That's so good. Yeah, so Elijah Craig C921, my favorite batch that I have. It's won in blinds too many times to count, but Independent Joe says pumpkin spice whiskey is in season. Yes, it officially is. We have bought pumpkin blankets and pumpkin pillows.
I think this has got gourds on it.
Oh, it's got some gourds.
No, it's got gourds and pumpkins.
Gourds and pumpkins. Yeah, so it's like a whole. It's fall season, baby. You already know that we were at Target before this live stream because this particular white girl wanted to be there. So, but that's okay. Top Shelf Dustin says C921 first ECBP in 3 years. I missed. Aw, man, that's really unfortunate. I'm sorry, man. It was a good one too. I mean, I think for a lot of people it was hit or miss. I know a lot of people actually didn't like it because it's very off profile for Elijah Craig. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and I still do. It continually wins blinds for me, so it just backs up my knowledge of it being my favorite. But that being said, ooh, yes. It's so sweet and chocolatey and, like, oaky, and, like, it's got some vanilla sweetness in there, but mainly, like, chocolatey, sweet chocolate, brown sugar, like molasses type notes in there. It's so good. Ooh.
It tasted buttery to me.
Oh. Which part tasted buttery?
Everything tasted like velvety buttery in
there. The going from the whiskey to the bar. That was amazing. That was really good. I think the whiskey to the bar was better than the bar to the whiskey, but I feel like the whiskey to the bar opened it up like a lot. And those like dark, rich chocolatey notes in there going from the whiskey into the pumpkin bar, like all that nice dark chocolate and oak just got flooded with like cinnamon spice and like pumpkin, which are 2 like amazing notes. They just go perfectly with whiskey, and they just like blended together into like the most amazing like combination ever. I honestly need to go again because I feel like I'm hitting what is it called? Enlightenment. I'm hitting enlightenment here. Oh yeah. That's nice. Oh, I see what you say about the buttery.
Yeah.
The buttery emulgulation of it. Everything is coming. I think that that cream cheese frosting helps a lot with that too.
Mm-hmm.
It like that takes that cream cheese frosting, kind of turns it into that like buttery like. Yeah, that's nice. So that is nice, everybody. That's fantastic. Top Shelf Dustin says, nah, that was great. I just sipped, but no bottle. Oh, I got a sip, but no bottle. Yeah. No, I agree. In my opinion, one of the best. In my opinion, the best that I've had. But this is also the first that I've had. So, but I've had A of this year. I've had B of this year. And I will have C of this year. I'm not sure when I'll get it because I got this in December last year. And so far, it's mid-September, and I haven't seen this C922 yet. But
You have A?
I have A and B. A is over there.
Oh.
I think I like B better than A, so I put B up there. But I know that I blinded them all, and C came in first place. And then I blinded it against Booker's, and C still came in first place. So if that doesn't, I'm sorry. If that doesn't prove anything, then I don't know what will. But that's fantastic whiskey. Top Shelf Dustin says B this year was pretty meh. A this year was too. Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me because coming into this, when I came into this, all of the good Elijah Craig barrel proof years are behind us. And now these past releases have been like, you know, it's good whiskey. It's still great for the price, but comparatively to what it used to be, it doesn't hit the mark. Well, this being the first one that I ever had, this is all I know. So the other two being meh, like I said, this one definitely is better. However, I did see that, I think the Bourbon Wrench, is that the Bourbon Wrench, Trevor Wilson? Is that who that is? Got a bottle of C922 already, and he reviewed it, and he said that it is closer to the old. It's like he said it's right in between the new Elijah Craig barrel proofs and the old Elijah Craig barrel proofs with flavor profile. So that is something I'm looking forward to, getting that and trying to decide what is, you know, the old ECVPs. Independent Joe says B522 is pretty good, so he liked that one. Yeah, I think my order is C921, B522, then A122. But Top Shelf says C921 was pretty good stuff, and he also said Trev is the wrench. So yeah, that's what I thought, and I think he is the one who put out the review on it. How he got it so fast, I don't know. He didn't even get, because I know it's Bourbon Night and Cliffy Bourbon Bites. They get their like the sample bottles from Heaven Hill every time the new releases come out for this. But Trev Wilson had a full bottle of C921. So I don't know how he found it so fast, but good on him because he got it out first, and that's kind of the way this game goes. Try to get it out first. All right, I need to did you want to try any more of this particular whiskey?
I'm good. The neighbors are vacuuming.
Yeah, if you guys hear any noise, I'm sorry. Our upstairs neighbors are vacuuming. Apparently, they aren't aware that they're in the presence of an elite whiskey tuber.
Wow.
All jokes aside, that was fantastic. Now, we are going to try one more tonight.
Okay.
It's 1 hour and 14 minutes into the stream. We'll try one more because I know that this one, that Elijah Craig went.
Just wants an excuse to finish the pumpkin bar, because once he leaves the room, he can't.
Well,
Just say
yeah. I mean, I like pumpkin bars. But what I do know is that this C921 tastes like candy bar, like chocolate, nougat, molasses. Tastes like a Three Musketeers. Is that the one with the nougat and the caramel?
No, it's Milky.
Okay, it tastes like a Milky Way bar, but it also has like a little bit of like brown sugar molasses in there as well. So
I finished it.
we're just gonna get some ice in the glass here.
Is that cold?
It's very cold.
Just spit it out.
Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Your mouth is gonna be too
Lauren's
numb to taste it.
I'm gonna read that.
ECVP is weird. You'll never get a bottle first in Kentucky, but Utah often gets it super early. Explain that? ? Explain that. Elijah Craig.
That was cold. Anyway, I don't eat ice very often, so I'm a big puss when it comes to that. And I have sensitive teeth. I don't know why. Sometimes I eat ice cream, my teeth hurt. But yeah, no, I agree. Wisconsin normally, I think for A122 and B522, I was one of the first. I think I was within the first 3 people to post reviews on A122 and B522. And I think I was the first person to release a Larceny A122 review. So Wisconsin actually gets them usually pretty fast. However, Larceny we don't see as often or as fast. And so far I haven't seen any ECBP for this year. So hopefully that changes and then I can get a review out fast enough to make a difference. But we'll see. Carl M. Schauber says, you gotta shop around to find anything good. I run Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana about once every 2 weeks. Holy crap, that's a lot. But I'm with you, Carl.
We run the same 5 liquor stores every day.
No, she's not even lying. When I was looking for the Little Book Chapter 6 and the Woodford Reserve Batch Proof, which would probably go great with this, but it's for another day. Yeah. When I was searching for those two, I went to the same liquor stores every day for 3 weeks or 4 weeks straight. So I definitely know what you mean when you're talking about running and making sure you get whiskeys, because I'm that guy. I am that guy. But we are going on to the Larceny Barrel Proof Batch C921. Super sweet on the nose. Like I said, 100% Milky Way, a little bit of molasses, brown sugar. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That might be the best one so far.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Here you go.
Oh, you want me to try it?
Yeah, I do. It's good. Don't worry, it's good.
I know, I feel like the whiskey overpowered the cake.
Too much proof on the whiskey?
I don't know.
It might be. The proof might be a little strong on this one. This drink's hotter than the Elijah Craig C921 does. I thought it was good, but I'm a proof hound, so I don't notice proof as much as Loren does. Loren is a beginner, I guess you would say. So her proofometer is a lot more sensitive than mine. But I enjoyed this. I'm going to have one more bite. Lauren's going to finish off the pumpkin bar.
Why are you volunteering me for this? I'm full. Had enough today.
Here you go.
Just eat it. Hold it.
I don't mind.
What is that bite gonna do?
That is 30 calories more than I need.
Eat it.
No.
Eat it.
No.
Eat it.
No.
If you eat it, I'll take a shot of Malort.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not serious. You got excited because you want
know
me
what,
to
guys?
like it.
We're going to get her to take a shot of Malort one of these days. Get me to 1,000 subscribers. I swear to God, she'll be drinking Malort on the channel. Top Shelf Justin says, Carl, yeah, we're in the same area. I feel the pain. Yeah, Mike and I just posted log Oh yeah, a log 12 cast strength from 2013. Screw being first. Well, it's all about being first sometimes, but other times just honestly it's putting out good content that people want to watch. Or even if people don't want to watch it, and sometimes people just need to watch it. Maybe there's people out there, they see the Lagavulin 12 cast strength on the 12, which I'm assuming is what you mean when you say log. Maybe people see that, they're looking for reviews, and yours is the one they click on, and then they have something that determines whether or not they buy it. So Jake is in the house, first time tonight. Cheers, Jake. Thanks for stopping in. So Whitney's party, or Carl says Whitney's party source, and a couple in Ohio. So cheers, Jake. Thanks for stopping in. Top Shelf doesn't says party source isn't good for bourbon finding, lol. But I live there, so Carl says I need a new riff. Fan of the Balboa rye, really good. I have a Balboa rye actually, and there was one for sale at the wine cellar in De Pere earlier this week, so I see it around every once in a while. Jake says I'm late to the party, but I do like cheese and some cold cuts with whiskey.
We didn't have any cold cuts.
We didn't have any cold
cuts. But we're
cuts.
going to redo another video, and we're going to have the whole Takuchi board.
Yes, I'm sorry, Jake, that you missed all of the
cheese. We made a
cheese.
Pumpkin bars, though.
We did go through 3 glasses of water. Went through a lot of water because little did you know, whiskey and cheese makes you very dehydrated. But at the hour and 10-minute mark, we decided to switch to pumpkin bars. We needed a break. The cheese was very good. We thought it went the best with this cask strength, wine finished burning chair. A blend of 60% Grenache, 25% Zin, Fendel, and 15% Cab. So we thought that one went the best with the cheese because it had enough body and proof to overpower the sharp cheese that we were eating. The second best was between Elijah Craig Rye and Remus Repeal Reserve 5. Basically, what our consensus was that the rye forward spice and all the spices coming from those rye whiskeys is what the cheese needed, because we also tasted it with Angel's Envy and Uncle Nearest and a Wild Turkey 101 and Dragon's Milk Origin. So it's determined that you need either proof to cut through the sharpness of the cheese, or spice, like really potent spice to cut through the sharpness of the cheese, because on all the sweeter whiskeys, the cheese kills all the sweetness except for the cask strength. And then on the spicier whiskeys, that cheese complements the spice and they elevate each other, which worked out. Pumpkin bars, honestly, it went really good with anything. It went fantastic with the wine finish. It went fantastic with the ECBP, and it went fantastic for the larceny. But I think, what was your favorite, the wine finish?
Yeah.
For the pumpkin bar? Yeah, the wine finish, honestly, I think was the best with the pumpkin bar, between the wine finish and the larceny barrel proof, for me. But that's just a little recap for you. Since you stopped in late, I figured I would. Plus, it's kind of the closing recap for the night before we close out here. That way, everyone who was watching has kind of a little recap of how this ended up. Top Shelf Dustin says I should just buy a Balboa Rye already. Honestly, Top Shelf Dustin, if you have the choice and you don't already have it, and you're choosing between the Balboa Rye or something else from New Riff, I really highly suggest New Riff Malted Rye. I think it's so much better than Balboa Rye. Balboa Rye is good, but it doesn't hit on the same caliber as a malted rye, in my opinion. Some people disagree, but I think a majority of people agree that the Balboa Rye is good, but the New Riff Malted Rye is fantastic. Yeah, we're the first Fable and Folly review. Yeah, that thing went crazy. We never expected it. Yeah, honestly, Booker's, I'm usually one of the first Booker's reviews when they come out, because I find them pretty fast, and not a lot of whiskey tubers put out Booker reviews anymore. It's becoming a lot less popular in the whiskey community and whiskey tube, but it's still very popular in the normal community. So I think the Booker's videos are actually the best on my channel, along with the Elijah Craig's. Jake says, I can see the finished whiskey being paired best. Yes. See, that was my first thought too, which is why I pulled out Angel's Envy. But to be the finished whiskey, it needs the proof. It needs the proof because the lower proof whiskeys, the cheese will cut all sweetness out of it. But yes, my thoughts exactly. Wine goes together with cheese, so wine finished whiskey should as well. I did a 4-way blind with some ECBP last weekend. Which one was your favorite? That's interesting. Which ones did you try, and which ones were your favorite? Top Dustin says, yeah, I have the malted rye. So yeah, malted rye, very good. Balboa rye, also very good, just not as good as malted rye in my opinion. But it's still one worth picking up if you see it. It's not too expensive. They kind of have decent prices locked down there. So, are you okay over here?
My foot.
I'm sorry. What was let's hear a recap from you. How did you feel about the whole whiskey and bourbon experience? I mean, sorry, that's the same thing. Whiskey and cheese experience.
I don't know. It was weird.
It was weird. I don't think she was as much of a fan as me. I think it's harder for her because she would rather just eat the cheese than eat the cheese with the whiskey.
Yeah.
Whereas I prefer a pairing. Although, I don't know how much I loved the dehydrating aspect. I mean, I was a fish out of water.
You're always a fish out of water.
I do drink a lot of fluids. I mean, I drink a lot of fluids, but I really guzzled that water down. I mean,
yeah, and I was thirsty.
I mean, you guys saw. You guys were here.
Are your knee pits sweating?
It's hot in here.
It's hot in here.
But please finish this pumpkin bar.
I
don't
know.
Want it. It's got too many calories.
It'll be fine. Let's just turn it around and you eat it.
I'm not gonna eat. It's gonna go in the garbage. So I'm sorry if you guys live in third world country.
Paid or spent all their time making those.
Someone did, and I think someone should eat it.
No, I'm full. Just eat it. This one bite.
Eh.
Hold it. I'm gonna stick it in your mouth while you're sleeping tonight.
Well, then I need a whiskey. What is it? What was this one?
I think that one was the first one we had, the Uncle Nearest.
What was this? This one was Elijah Craig. That one was
Dragon's Milk.
Dragon's Milk. This one was. Ooh, I'll try with the Remus. Remus being a spicy one, all that rye spice might go good with the pumpkin.
The cinnamon.
Mm-hmm. That was Remus. Mm. Oh.
Weird?
No.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, a few words.
Ooh. That worked out really good. It's a shame that we waited until the end for the Remus because that one worked out really good.
Okay.
That rye spice went with the cinnamon and pumpkin really nicely. My hair's getting long, but yeah, no, that was good. Jake says number 4 ECBP, single barrel 11 year. Number 3 was 522. Number 2 was a 122, and number 1 was C921. They were all the same with the taste, but it was the finish that set them apart. C921 by far. The rest were close. Jake, it's funny that you say that. I don't know if you were in here when we were talking about it, but I actually said the exact same thing with the exception that I switched around 522 and 122. So I said C921, the best by far. But my second place was actually B522 and third place A122. Just kind of, I was recapping it from when I had done a blind earlier this year, but I'm excited for the C922 because I've heard that one is a midpoint between the old Elijah Craigs and the new ones. So that one should hopefully be maybe a new favorite for me. We'll see. Carl says, I'll have to try the malted rye. Hopefully it will fit my palate. Yeah, I mean, it kind of is like all that rye aspects, but has a little bit of like a malty note in it as well. But I feel like the flavor or the mouthfeel and the body of it is a lot fuller bodied. The mouthfeel is nicer. I also think that it kind of has like, it almost takes like the Balboa rye and like amps it up with the malted rye. I think that the Balboa rye was good, but it's just it was a little light for me. I think the malted rye had a lot more to offer in terms of potency. I think the flavor of the Balboa rye was here, and the malted rye was up here. The flavor notes, however, are a bit different. The malted rye not being quite as sweet and fruity and fresh as Balboa rye, but personal preference, like you said earlier. Jake says a lot of people like the New Riff malted rye. I cannot get New Riff here, but I want to try it. Well, Jake, you know, I see it more often than most people. And I know we already talked about the Driftless Glen. Thank you, Lauren. I know we already talked about the Driftless Glen rye pick, but if you're ever interested in a malted rye, I tend to see that pretty often here too. So you have my email. Feel free to use it. Sometimes I find things that you don't find. I am more than happy to send stuff out to you guys. I like I said, people who support me, I'll get you guys what you want. I don't know. I feel like it's more you guys. People who support me are friends of mine, so I would want my friends to be able to try stuff that I've tried, so we can talk about it. It just makes for good conversation, good live streams, good people, and sharing is caring. He says, man, I remember when people shilled at ryes. I've always been a rye fan. Yeah, I haven't. Honestly, I was one of those people. But like I said earlier in the stream, which you weren't here for, rye kind of has a lot harsher notes and less palatable notes for beginner drinkers. Loren had tasted the Remus Repeal 5, didn't love it because of all those dark notes that rye spice, the clove, the leather and tobacco, and all that stuff that usually comes from like high rye stuff. And if I recall, she never really liked the Elijah Craig rye either. I think she tried it once and she didn't like it. But that is also a very rye forwardy rye. So that being said, yeah, ryes are good. I like them now, but I never used to. So I think it just takes time for some people. But that being said, I think that's the end of the video. I need a glass to cheers with. I think it's going to be this one. Loren needs a glass to cheers with that has whiskey in it. So it's going to be that one. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please, if you guys haven't hit the like button, please do. That helps all the time.
I hit the like button.
Loren hit the like button. But yeah, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't already, because if you're not, you're going to miss out. Hit the bell button so you guys know when we're going live and when we're playing on new videos. Now, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's my personal goal. That's what I'm going to do before I get a new camera. And yeah, so please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and yeah, other people are live streaming tonight as well. It's Tuesday. A lot of people live stream. Go check out everyone else, the Bourbon Junkies, and I think 21090 always live streams tonight as well. So go check out everyone else, and yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And thank you all for showing up. Carl says, adios, my friend. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you all in the next class. That was a good one.
Nice.
That was a good one. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for stopping in.